Hello, everyone. Welcome to 2D Board Gamers. My name is Dave,
And I'm Dirk.
and today we're going to go over Spider-Man Miles Morales hero review. So, Miles was the second hero that came in the Sinister Motive box, and he's a web warrior. So he was the first hero with the web warrior distinction,
He wasn't, I think, what, the second champion?
and the second champion,
Yeah,
yeah,
the second champion.
because Ms. Marvel's a champion,
Yeah.
but this is the wave that expanded the champions
Yes.
trait and
We got a few champion specific cards in here that
gave
we
us
like.
a Web Warriors. Yeah. All right, but first let's go over Miles himself. So first of all, we'll look at his alter ego.
Okay, so his alter ego, Miles Morales, he's got a recovery of 4. He is a civilian. He's got a hand size of 6 and 9 hit points. He is a civilian in that trait, and as a response, after you change to this form, you can shuffle a Spider-Man card from your discard pile into your deck. So,
Okay. And then
and by Spider-Man, it means one of his identity-specific
right.
cards. It does not mean a card named Spider-Man.
Right. So yeah, so since this is the first hero that had the same name as another hero, that's where when they mention Spider-Man by name, and if it's on a hero card, then it's referring to that specific Spider-Man, not Peter Parker Spider-Man.
Yes.
And the same thing now that we have Black Panther Shuri, the same thing would happen with Black Panther as well. Okay, but let's look at Spider-Man Miles Morales here. So he's got a 2 thwart, 2 attack, 2 defense. He's a champion. He's a web warrior. He's got 2 specials. The first one's called Venom Blast, which is deal 2 damage to an enemy, stun that enemy. And then Spider Camouflage special, give Spider-Man a tough status card, confuse an enemy. Now, the important thing with Miles is, this is something that made him distinctly different than Peter Parker, of course, but he has, because it's kind of like Black Panther's upgrades where you can't trigger the special unless a card lets you trigger a special.
Yes.
So you can't just go, oh, as an action, I'll exhaust Miles, or I'll do my once per turn to do 2 damage to an enemy and stun it. No, you actually have to have a card that says use your Venom Blast.
Yep.
You know. Okay.
So,
So with that in mind,
so the first one we've got here is the Arachnobatics. We have 2 copies of this. It is a 1-cost attack event, and as a hero action, you can deal 2 damage to the enemy. And if that enemy has a stun status card, you can deal 3 additional damage to it. But here, if the enemy has a confused status, you can deal 3 additional damage to it as well. So if you have stun and confused, that's 6 total. So this could be 8 damage for 1 card.
so Miles is really good against villains that don't have steady or stalwart.
Yeah, Stalwart is
Stalwart
terrible
is
for
horrible
Miles.
for him. Steady slows him down.
Yeah.
But yeah, he definitely has really he can stun and confuse a lot.
Yeah, he's a great character for a Stunlock deck.
All right, so we have double life here. We have 2 copies, max 1 per round. Action: change your form. If you paid for this card using a strength resource, ready your identity. So this is actually kind of nice because you could say you're in a hero form, you flip down to alter ego, you spin a strength, you get a recovery. You have not done your once per turn flip that you get for free. And so then you can turn around and go right back to hero. So it allows you to get a recovery during the player phase and be able to still end the turn in hero form so that you don't, let the
Yeah.
villain thwart.
And we did not pull any cards specifically to go with that ability, but there's a lot of cards that trigger whenever you change forms, either to hero or alter ego. So any of those that fit in your aspect are cards that can be used in a deck
Yeah.
with him.
Yeah, like lay down the law, ready to rumble could be a
Yeah,
good
different
card.
cards like that.
But he's only got 2 copies in his deck. That's
Yeah,
why.
so you probably don't want to build around that.
Yeah, but you might think if you have room in your deck, adding a copy of Ready to Rumble is not a bad idea.
Yeah. All right, here we've got Swing In. It's a 2-cost thwart event. So this one's similar to the other one. You can, as a hero action, you can remove 4 threat from the scheme. And if you paid for this using a mental resource, this one allows you to resolve the Spider Camouflage ability. So remember, he's got the 2 abilities here. And so this is the second one there. So this is the first card that we've got that allows you to trigger one of those.
Right. And it is a thwart event. So Sense
Yep.
of Justice, if you have the Sense of Justice card, that would provide the mental. All right. Then we have 3 copies of Web Shot. It's a 2-cost event. Hero action: attack, deal 4 damage to an enemy. If you pay for this card using an energy resource, resolve Spider-Man's Venom Blast ability. Now, unfortunately, Martial Prowess gives you a strength, so you would have to have another way to generate energy.
Yep.
But And that's 3 copies of that card.
Okay. Here we've got his persona support. It's 2 cost support. Genki Lee is as an action. You can exhaust him to draw 1 card, and if you're in hero form, you can choose and discard 1 card from your hand.
Yeah. So the nice
So,
thing with this is with the double life, because you start in hero, you flip to alter ego, you're taking the recovery like we mentioned before. Then you could trigger Genki Lee because you're alter ego,
yep.
get another card in your hand, and then flip back to hero form.
Yeah, this is the one if you would prefer to use him when you're in alter ego because
Right.
you don't have to pay the penalty for it then.
Okay. And then Jefferson Davis, 2 cost support, persona shield, alter ego action, exhaust Jefferson Davis, remove 1 threat from a scheme with the least amount of threat. That's what it. So again, this is the same thing. You could, when you're an alter ego or you're doing the double life turn, you can draw a card with Genki and you can remove a threat from the scheme with the least amount of threat.
Yeah, and it's nice because then if you turn around and come back up, you could have put a scheme within range of a card like For Justice.
Yeah.
So, all right, here then we've got 1 copy of Power Within. It is a superpower upgrade. Sorry, at 1 cost upgrade, superpower. And as a hero response, after your hero uses a basic power, you can discard this to resolve Spider-Man's Venom Blast ability. So unfortunately, it does force you to discard it, but allows you to use that Venom Blast after using any basic power.
Yeah.
So I like it. I liked it whenever you use it for defense. That's a nice.
Right. And speaking of defense, we got a defense mechanism. It's a 1 cost upgrade, superpower, hero response. After a hero uses a basic power, discard defense mechanism, resolve Spider-Man's spider camouflage ability. And yes, this could happen in the villain phase when you defend.
Yep.
And then this next card is similar to Peter Parker now.
Very similar. So it's a 1 cost upgrade. It is his web shooter, which is an item tech. Comes in with 3 counters. You've got 2 copies of this. But as a hero resource, you can exhaust it and remove 1 web counter to generate a wild resource.
Yeah. So it's exactly the same as Peter Parker's, of course. All right. Then his obligation is keeping secrets. Give to the Miles Morales player. You may flip to alter ego. Choose. You can exhaust Miles to remove it from the game. So we're like the ones that we had since the beginning of the game. Or you discard Genki Lee and Jefferson Davis from play. If neither was discarded this way, this card gains surge. Then discard this obligation. So,
yep. So
you're getting rid of your personas or you're exhausting.
Okay.
Let's see if we can get that. There we go.
There we go. All right. Then we've got the Prowler, who is his nemesis, but it is a criminal minion. He's got 1 scheme to attack at 5 hit points. He is stalwart, so he is immune to the stun lock. But then, when revealed, if you're in alter ego form, give him a tough status card.
Yeah. Makes sense. It's his uncle,
Yep.
so he's known him since he was born, so he knows all his tricks. All right, so the Nemesis side scheme here is tracking prey. It has an acceleration token, comes in with 4 threat. When revealed, if you are in alter ego form, place 1 acceleration token here.
So it'll have 2 if you're in alter ego form.
Yeah.
Right. Then we've got the Razor Claws, which is a weapon attachment. It gives so you attach it to the minion with the highest printed hit point. So it is printed and not any minions that have had hit points added. But if you cannot, the card gains surge, and the attacked minions' attacks gain piercing, and it gives them +2 to that attack.
Yep.
So it makes it to where they can pierce through toughness and they hit harder. So
All right.
a lot of fun to deal with.
And then the last 2 cards is 2 copies of a Treachery, Slice and Dice. When revealed, Prowler attacks the player with the fewest remaining hit points, even if that player is in alter ego form. If that attack defeats a character or no attack was made this way, this card gains surge.
Yeah,
So
now this one's kind of nasty. You got to be careful whenever his nemesis scheme comes, or his nemesis set comes out because of this card right here.
Right. Because it's like, oh no, I'm down to 1 hit point, so I'm going to go to alter ego. Oh, I'm exhausted. I can't heal, but I'll be able to heal next turn.
No, you don't, because you got to survive.
And then Slice and Dice comes out. Yeah.
Yep. Or to add insult to injury, both of them come out.
Oh, so you get hit twice.
Yeah, so you get hit twice.
All right. Then his team up card is Young Love. So it's a team up with Gwen Stacy.
Yeah. Now you notice we didn't see a hero specific ally here, so he does not come with a hero specific ally.
Right. Well, yeah. So this is the same as we saw in the Gwen Stacy deck. It's a
Yep.
one cost event. Heal 3 damage each from Gwen Stacy and Miles Morales. But we do have a Gwen Stacy.
Yep, and the great thing is, it's very
Reader.
similar to the situation with the Miles one. It comes in basic, so you can use this with any aspect. So they don't limit you to the aspect when using this one because you don't have her in your hero pack.
Want to read what she does?
Oh, so what she does is you can only play her if you control a web warrior, which you are. But she's a 3-cost ally with 1 fort 2 attack. She is a web warrior, and whenever she leaves play, you can search your deck for an identity-specific event and add it to your hand, which is a really great thing for Miles because of his events. And in fact, you get to search for it, so then you can pick which one you want.
Okay, and so now Miles is a web warrior, so like you could build any web warrior heavy deck with the web warrior allies. We kind of, if you want to see the different web warrior allies, check out our Ghost Spider video. We didn't have Ghost Spider in that video because she was the hero, so that's why we're showing her now. We're going to show a couple web warriors that are we think are specific for Miles, but you could build any
Web warrior,
any web warrior heavy deck.
Yep.
And if you want to see the web warriors, please check out that video.
So the ones we've got here, the first one we've got here is Spider Bite, who is a new one. But Spider Bite is a 3-cost ally, forts for 2, attacks for 1, has 2 health. She's a web warrior, but you can reduce the cost of Spider Bite for each tech card you control. And remember the two what are they? The web shooters here are both techs, so you can actually pay her for 1 cost there. And if you have something like a oh shoot. Oh shoot. I'm blanking.
Okay.
Card will come to later. Wait a minute.
If you making a protection deck, and you've
Yeah.
got energy barriers or force field generators, if you got
Yeah.
a lot of tech
Those
cards.
checks out as well.
Yeah, because obviously you're going to play Spider Bite. You're probably playing protection, so you can play with the heavy tech that comes in protection.
I can't believe I'm blanking on that card name right now.
I can. Then we got Spider-Man Otto Octavius, the superior Spider-Man. 2 cost. No, that's what he
Just
called.
ask him.
No, that's what he called himself. 2 cost ally, 1 thwart, 2 attack with 2 consequential, 2 hit points, web warrior. Play only if you control a web warrior card, which when you're hero, you do. After you play Spider-Man from your hand, writing an upgrade you control. If that upgrade has a tech trait, draw a card. So yeah, so you could use your web shooter to help pay for a card, then you to help pay
for him.
Otto,
Yeah.
and then turn around and ready
Ready it and draw a card. So in essence, you've played Auto for free if you're doing it that way.
right. And then some other cards that are just good with web warrior heavy decks. So we got this one.
So Across the Spider-Verse is a 2-cost event, max 1 per deck, but you can exhaust a web warrior card you control, search your discard pile for a web warrior ally, put it into play, then choose a player. That player may spend 3 resources of any type to repeat this ability. You can choose yourself. Great thing there is you choose that, you bring in the auto card, which that's just after you play it. After you play it from your hand. So it would not work for his ability. It does not trigger his ability. That's right.
But you've got all sorts of web warrior allies, especially like the basic Peter Parker.
Yeah, that's a really good one.
All right, then we got Web of Life and Destiny. It's a 3-cost support, location web warrior. Ignore this card's resource cost if your identity has a web warrior trait. Response: after a web warrior ally leaves play, choose a player. That player draws a card. So that's pretty nice.
And then the last of the web warrior card specific that we thought we'd look at here is Warrior of the Great Web. It's a 1-cost upgrade. It is a title, and you can attach it to a character with Spider in its title, which of course you have Spider-Man in your title. So you can attach it to yourself, or you can attach it to any ally that's got Spider. But they gain the Web Warrior trait. And the great thing about this, if you play it on yourself, you go to Alter Ego, you still have the Web Warrior trait when you're in Alter Ego. But as a response, after a Web Warrior ally leaves play, attached character gets +1 attack until the end of the phase.
Okay. Now, because we've been talking about Web Warriors a lot, the other trait he has is Champion. And so we got some Champion specific cards. So if you want to build a Champion heavy deck, we have a few options. So this first one is, if you're playing aggression, would be Bombshell. 4-cost ally, 2 thwart with 2 consequential, 3 attack, 1 consequential with a star. 3 hit points, champion. You can only play her if you are a champion. And the star ability is divide damage from bombshells attack among each enemy as evenly as possible. So, if you got 3 enemies, you're doing 1 point to 3 different enemies.
Yeah, and of course you can always beef her up to spread that out or do spread more damage across. But yeah,
Yeah.
it allows you to hit multiple enemies.
You want to Voltron her, yeah.
Great that she's great for picking off toughnesses.
Yeah.
All right, next here we've got Braun, who's a 3-cost ally. He's 1 attack, 1 thwart. He is a Gamma champion. He's got 5 hit points, and as a response, after he attacks, you remove a threat from a scheme. So he attacks and thwarts at the same time, basically.
Okay. Then we have the Locust, 2-cost ally, 1 thwart, 2 consequential, 1 attack, 1 consequential, 2 hit points. Play only if your identity has the champion trait. Hero response. After the Locust enters play, add 1 aggression event from your discard pile to your hand. So that's pretty nice.
Yeah, of course. I mean, you're playing aggression if you're playing her, so it's a nice one. Okay, then we've got 1 ally here from Justice. It is Wasp. She's a 2-cost ally. She thwarts for 2, attacks for 1. She does take 2 consequential when she thwarts, however. You can only play her if you have the champion trait. She's got 3 hit points. But the great thing about her is she ignores the guard keyword, the patrol keyword, and the crisis icon. See, I didn't have to remember what it's called. They've got it printed right there. This is the perfect card for me.
Mm-hmm. And this is the Nadia Van Dyne version. All right, then we got Cloud9. She's a 3-cost ally, 1 thwart, 1 attack, 3 hit points, aerial champion. Hero action, you can exhaust Cloud9, choose a player until the end of the phase. Each aerial character that player controls gets +1 thwart. Now, I mean, if you're going to build an aerial heavy deck, she's got some advantage for that. But the fact that she's a champion, you could get her cheaper with team building. Mainly it's for her trait more than the aerial aspect.
Right,
but
yeah, you have to build into aerial. So, yeah, she is aerial, but she does exhaust herself.
And there is another aerial champion in leadership, too, that we're going to get to, which is right now.
Falcon. So this is the Joaquin Torres Falcon. He is 4-cost ally. He thwarts for 1, attacks for 2. He is an aerial champion, has 3 hit points, but as a hero response, after he attacks or thwarts, you can spend an energy resource to ready another champion character you control. So you can ready yourself or any other champion that you've got. I mean, if you used, say you used the Cloud9. Yeah, you use Cloud9 and gave all aerial characters thwart, and so you can then attack or thwart with, or you can thwart with Falcon, then use that ability to ready Cloud9, so then she gets the addition or that added thwart bonus as well.
Yeah.
So,
or Miles for that matter.
Sure.
Then we got Patriot, 3-cost ally, 2 thwart, 2 consequential, 1 attack, 4 hit points. He's a champion. After Patriot enters play, choose a champion character. That character gets +1 to each of its basic powers until the end of the round. So with these 3 allies in particular, you can really get some powerful
attack or thwart especially, but attack as well. I mean, honestly,
yeah. But the thwart, between Cloud9's buff and Falcon readying, you could really be thwarting really crazy with these 3 allies. Yep. All right, then for protection.
So for protection here, we've got Nova. Nova is one of my favorite heroes, but he's also actually kind of a fun ally as well. He's a 4-cost ally. He thwarts for 1, attacks for 2. But whenever, as an interrupt, when an enemy initiates an attack against you, you can spend an energy resource to deal 2 damage to that enemy. He's got 3 hit points. But what I love about him then is you can actually spend the energy resource and kill off enemies before they attack you, and it does not exhaust him to do that. So you can do it more than once if you've got the resources.
Yeah, that's really good. And especially, you might be able to kill the minions, with the low hit points. All right, then we got Pinpoint.
I love this. She might be my favorite champion ally, to be honest.
So she's a 2-cost protection ally, 1 thwart, 2 attack with 2 consequential, 2 hit points. Play only if your identity has a champion trait. Hero interrupt. When a player card would be placed into a discard pile from play, exhaust Pinpoint, shuffle that card into its owner's deck instead. So this is pretty nice for getting your card back. It kind of gives, like an ally, gives it the Clea ability, or these cards.
Cards, I love it using these cards right here.
Right.
Because you have to discard them. So
right. Or if you're playing against the collector, you can keep that from. Oh no, no, it's a
It-
hero interrupt. No, I
yeah.
think the collector's force interrupt. So never mind. No,
Yep.
wouldn't work on that. Then we have a pool card here. Stick to itiveness.
So now the reason we're kind of the stick to it. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, the stick to it is well. You want to use the basic powers of Miles as much as you can because he gets the bonuses from his special whenever he uses his basics. Or
No,
no, whenever he uses the abilities. But then he does want to use his well, yeah, you want to use your basics period. But stick to itiveness is the upgraded version of tenacity. Basically, but the drawback is you can only use it when you're playing pool. But you can spend a strength resource and exhaust the card to ready your hero
instead of discarding.
instead of discarding. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if you want to ready
Yeah.
to, those upgrades, of course, you have to discard those upgrades, unfortunately. But you could still get a little more use out of it. And if you're playing pool, that's just a great card for pool in general. All right, next is Ironheart. 2 cost ally, 1 thwart, 1 attack, 2 hit points. She's a champion. After you play Ironheart from your hand, draw a card. So this is the greedy version of Maria.
Yeah. All right, then we've got Moon Girl here. Moon Girl is a 3 cost ally. She thwarts for 2, attacks for 2. She does take 2 consequential on both of those. She is a champion genius. You do have to either be a champion or a genius to play her. You don't have to be both, just one or the other. But as a response, after you play Moon Girl from your hand, you can draw 1 card for each mental resource you use to pay for her. So if you actually do have extra mental resources to spend on her, you can draw up to 3 cards with that. So that's really nice.
All right, then we got Snow Guard here. She's a 4 cost ally, 0 thwart, 0 attack, champion, 3 hit points. But the trick is, after a Snow Guard enters play, you place up to 3 shift counters on her. While the shift counters here equal as X, you get a specific effect. So if you put 1 on there, she gets +3 attack, and her attacks gain overkill. If you put 2, she gets +3 thwart and gains the aerial trait. So that would actually work with those leadership allies we talked about. And if you have 3, she just gets +5 hit points and gains retaliate.
But the great thing is if you're playing the leadership set and you've got the Cloud9 card, you can make her aerial to give her that +3 thwart.
Oh yeah. Oh.
No, you have to make her aerial.
Right.
Well, you make her aerial and you can use her with Cloud9. So she's great. And honestly, but because she's basic and she's so versatile, I mean, she rivals Pinpoint. Pinpoint, I love to be able to get the card back. So she's probably my second favorite champion.
Right. But with that comma that Dirk just mentioned, she would have a thwart of 4.
Well, 5 if you're using Patriot.
Yeah, if you have Patriot. Yeah, but then you'd have to have the Triskelion at that point.
Yeah.
Because then Falcon could ready her and she could thwart for 5 twice. Vivian. Okay, so Vivian is a 2 cost ally. 2 thwart, 2 consequential, 1 attack, 1 consequential, 2 hit points. Aerial android champion.
And another aerial. Yep.
After Vivian enters play, choose an attachment non-elite minion or non-permanent side scheme until the end of the round. Treat the card's printed text box as if it were blank, except for traits.
Okay, and then that's all for the allies. But as far as for just champion specific cards, we've got Go for Champions here. It's a 3 cost event, max 1 per deck. You do have to be a champion to play this, but each champion character as a hero action, each champion character in play cannot take damage until the end of the round. So this is a great card. The one thing, it has been errated, so there is an update to this card. If you do play it, just be aware that once you play it, you remove it from the game. You do not shuffle it, or you do not put it in your discard pile.
Yeah, because people were doing 4-player champions, and basically as long as one person had that card, you could pretty much no one take damage every single turn.
Yeah, and there are ways to cheat the card back. So
yeah. All right, so then we got Champion's Mobile Bunker. It's a 2-cost support. Champion's Vehicle. Exhaust Champion's Mobile Bunker. Choose an identity with a champion trait. That player who controls that identity may draw 2 cards, then discard 2 cards from their hand. So it allows you to kind of get the cards that you want.
Yep.
Cycle through your deck a little faster.
Okay, and then we've got team building exercise, and I think this is one that it's a really good thing to actually have a second copy of this card when you're playing when you're playing Miles. but it allows you to exhaust. It's 2 cost support, but as a hero action, you can exhaust it, play a card from your hand, reducing the cost by 1. It does have to share a trait with the hero. This is the card I was trying to think about earlier, and I can't believe I forgot the name. But with the team building, the reason I like 2 of them is you can either use it if you're playing specific to one trait or the other, like champion or web warriors. You can use it to get multiple cards out in a turn, or you can, it works with either or both. So I mean, you can do a combination, or you can do one or the other, but you can only use 1 per card. So you would need more than 1 if you wanted to do that more than once in a turn.
Okay, and then Miles has a lot of like kind of specific resources that he needs to use to like, especially to trigger his specials.
These specifically right here. Each of them requires a specific resource if you want to use it.
Right, which the web shooters are great for that, but if you want a little bit more, you can play the enhances. So this is enhance awareness, 2 cost upgrade, comes in with 3 counters. You exhaust it, remove a mental counter from it to generate a mental resource, and then you've got
the same thing for strength and for energy here.
Okay,
you got 1 for each.
And then Dirk thought of another way to cheat resources.
Cheat a resource in here. So build support. So this is a player side scheme that costs 1 to play. Comes in with 3 threat per player. Because of the victory 0, it goes into the victory display whenever you defeat it. But each player can search their deck and discard pile for support card with a cost of 3 or less and put it into play. So the key part here is you put it into play and you don't have to play it. So that means any restrictions, like the restriction here on the Quinn Carrier, that you have to be an Avenger, will not apply. So you can put this and you can get access to a wild resource with a non-Avenger character by doing this little trick.
But you have to fight your Avenger players.
Yes. Okay. Or if somebody else knows that you're doing this, they might try to pull the same stunt.
Get my Quinn Carrier out first.
Yeah.
It's like, who could find it in their deck faster when build support's done?
And of course, again, because you want to, you love to be able to unexhaust and reuse his basic abilities. Tenacity. I mean, we had the stick-to-itiveness one for it if you were in pool, but this one works in basic for any. It's a little bit more expensive in the fact that you do have to discard the card, so it's a 1 shot, and you have to get it back to play it again. But you spend a strength resource and discard it to ready your hero.
All right. Well, and that was Miles. So, like I said in the beginning of the video, he's our first web warrior. He's our first champions in the champion wave. I mean, like I said,
second champion, but first.
Yeah, we had Miss Marvel in the very beginning of the game, but a lot of new champion cards had come out, and so during that wave, and there's a couple more champion heroes that are coming out when we get to the videos, so that'll be able to use these champion allies. So in those videos we'll reference, see this video for the details of the champions allies. But all right, well, that we are continuing our Sinister Motive wave, and this is our.
And we don't have Sinister Motives to do this, though. We're just doing it for fun.
Dirk's always has Sinister Motives. Don't believe a word he says. All right. Anyways, thank you for watching, everyone. Please like and subscribe.
And if you want to see more content by us, go ahead and hit that notification bell down there, and you will get alerts whenever we post new videos.